Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how this async keyword works in JavaScript, what it does to a function when it's placed in front of a function. So let me erase this for now, erase this async keyword. So I have a function here called increment. It takes a number as an argument and it increments the number by 1 and it returns the value. If I store the value, store the return value, const x equals increment of this increment function in a variable x here. Let me pass a number of 2 or let's say 1 and save it. And if I log the value of x to the console, you can see the number 2 logged to the console. So we passed a number of 1 and it was incremented by 1. Now we have 2 stored in the value in the variable x. But if I put the async keyword in front of the function and save it, you can see it doesn't return the number now, it returns a promise. And this promise is a JavaScript promise. As you can see in this, if I log the type of x, save it, you can see it's an object. And if I simply log x, you can see it returns this promise and it has a prototype of promise. That means it inherits all the properties of a JavaScript promise. If I expand this, you can see it has all the methods that a JavaScript promise has. That means a catch, finally, and a then. These are the methods and the constructor of a promise. And it also has a state. The current state of this promise is fulfilled and the result is 2 that we were expecting, that we got from the regular function. When we call that, we got the result straight into the console. But here we're getting the result into the promises result. That is here in the promise result and the result is 2. That's what we want. So how do we access that? We tried logging the variable x to console, but we got a promise. So to access this result, we need to use the methods that are present in this promise. Let me show you. Let me comment these 2 lines out. Let me erase these. I can say increment. I'll call this function again with the value 1 and I'll use the then method on the promise. What this means is when the promise is resolved, the then method would be called and it takes a callback. The callback has a parameter. Let's call that result. And if we log that result to console, let's say log result. Let me erase the semicolon. As you can see, the number 2 logged to console. This is what the asynchronous keyword does to a function in JavaScript. The async keyword, when placed in front of a function in JavaScript, it returns a promise. And to access the results from that asynchronous function, we need to use the methods that are available on that promise. These asynchronous functions don't execute in a synchronous way. And let me show you. Let me create a few console logs here. Let's give this a value of a string called start and let me copy this, paste it here, call it end, save it. You can see these console logs are printed one after another. First the start is printed and next the end is being printed. If I erase this async keyword in front of the function and log, create the constant again, const x equals increment, pass it a value of 1 again, save it, and log the value of x to console again, save it. You can see first we get the start, we get the number 2, and then we get end. But if we make this function asynchronous, uncomment these out, uncomment this, copy it, place it here, save. So this is a result in when the function was synchronous. I have made the function now asynchronous and I'm accessing the return value using the then method. So if I save it, as you can see, the start is logged first, the end is logged second, and then the number from the function is being logged. So why is that? The asynchronous functions don't execute in the JavaScript's main thread. Whenever JavaScript sees these asynchronous functions, it takes these functions out of the JavaScript's main thread and executes them separately and doesn't block the code here. So and doesn't block the execution of the synchronous code, because asynchronous functions can take a good amount of time to return the results. That's why JavaScript takes the asynchronous functions or tasks out of the main thread and executes the synchronous code first and then places the results of those asynchronous tasks in the main thread again, and that is why we get this type of result. I hope you like the video. Thank you.